So you've decided that you want to take the leap and turn your lawn into a delicious fruits and vegetables garden, or flowers. Today, I'm going to share with you my top 3 ways to do this. Let's get dirty.
Okay, you got some fruits and vegetables, aquaponics in the greenhouse. Get deep sometimes, growing stuff. Yeah.
So summer might be winding down and fall might be just around the corner. However, there is still plenty of time to take that lawn and transform it so you can get a few extra goodies out this year, like some arugula or radish, some green manure to prep your lawn for next year, garlic, what have you. I've had a lot of experience with this over the summer, and I want to share with you how I was able to successfully make some of that lawn into something that grows delicious food. All right. So the first way is basically just ripping off all of the lawn and churning the ground underneath. This is the quick and dirty way, probably the fastest of the 3, and it is the most expensive though. The most expensive on your time, on your physical resource, even money-wise. How I did it was I took a sod cutter, went and rented one, that stripped off all of that top lawn and rolled it into nice little bales for me. I just kind of set them aside. I had a little extra space. And from there, it was just a rototiller to dig underneath and churn everything up. And what was already in the soil was pretty okay. Added some amendments for the pH level and the composition. There was some compost, just some dirt that I had brought in to kind of build up the height. And that was essentially it. From there, I had a nice place to plant things in.
The curse of the black pearl.
The second way is basically a dirt lasagna, a very untasty dirt lasagna, unless you like the taste of dirt, no judgment. It's probably the most thorough and readily accessible of the 3 ways. It gives you the opportunity to micromanage everything that's going in there if that's your thing. Why I did this was I wanted to get a sample patch for vegetables that required a lot more tender loving care. This was for my tomatoes actually. And how I did this was Tupperware. I need Tupperware. Behold, imagine if you will, this is your ground. So you've got the top layer, like 4, maybe 6 inches of grass. This would be your sod, the little bit of roots underneath. Your second layer, your second 6 inches, is just gonna be a transitional layer, mostly dirt, maybe a little bit of clay, but it should be pretty decent soil. Your third layer, your last 6 inches down, is going to be some nutrient-rich, should be where most of your worm castings are, stuff that's really good for growing. The problem is that since the grass is already taking everything up, sticking some fruits and vegetables in there isn't really going to get you what you want. Ideally, what you're trying to do is turn everything upside down like this. Now, unless you have some pretty heavy machinery, just grabbing everything and shoving it is not going to be an option. So how I did it is I painstakingly dug up the top layer, the 4 to 6 inches, took that, turned that upside down and set it aside, took the second 4 to 6 inches, dug it up, turned it upside down and set it aside, and You know. And once you have this, now all you need to do is put it back in the ground in that order, like that. Basically it. Ding. So what you have here when that's all done is the nice nutrient-rich stuff on top. You've got kind of your middle transitional layer and the grass on the bottom. Now what this is gonna do for you is the grass on the bottom is gonna decompose. Being this far down, it doesn't really have access to sunlight, obviously, and not a whole lot of, well, that's about it. It's gonna die. Your grass is gonna die. If you're super paranoid about it, which I was, you can even put a nice little cardboard layer right there, right above your grass layer. And what that's gonna do is that's really gonna prevent any roots or any grass from coming up through it. Now, the cardboard, as it breaks down, try to get stuff that doesn't have a lot of printing or tape on it. You want it to be as original cardboardy as possible. Even the glue is not the greatest, but it's, you know, it serves a purpose. So once you have the cardboard layer on there, what it's gonna do is as it breaks down, it'll add carbon to the decomposing grass, which will give off a bunch of nitrogen. The two of them together will form a delicious compost that more worms will eat as they work their way through, turning this layer right here into an even more nutrient-dense, rich layer for you to grow your fruits and vegetables on. That's the second way.
Bees. Dozens of them.
The third way was probably the most natural of the three, smothering the grass.
Shh, it's okay.
You would want to use this method if you have a bunch of time to kill. For example, it's getting to be the end of the growing season, and maybe you're looking towards next year's planting. So if you have the 4 to 8 months it takes for lawn just to kind of die and turn into food for other plants to grow, tarp it. I took giant tarps. The darker in color, the better. You want some tarps that are going to block sunlight, hopefully block some oxygen, really smother that grass, and the darkness will absorb the sunlight and help that decomposition process speed up a little bit. From there, after that's all done, pull up your tarps. You should have nice brownish, easily turnable lawn. Rototiller, dig it in there, mix it up, and you got yourself a bed.
Check out that gradient.
Well, hey, before I forget, if you saw anything that you liked in this video, you could always just go and give us a little thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe. We have a ton more goodies to talk about. Stuff.
Wildflowers.
So I say good on you for taking that step and converting or creating, transforming your lawn into something that just helps biodiversity and that whole circle of life thing. Now, I'm not too sure who decided it was such a good idea to populate the millions and millions of yards with a non-productive, ornamental monoculture that basically requires as much effort to care for as just having a garden that will feed and help life on Earth. That's just me. Well, thanks for watching. I appreciate you letting me share and look forward to seeing you on the next one. Okay.